think you might be on mute, my friend. I think one of us is on mute, Brad.
It's supposed to unmute itself automatically when the intro video goes off. So I got used to not looking back at it, and now I don't look back at it and I'm muted. So all of that wonderful, nice stuff I just said about you was all for nothing. Good morning.
That's what they all say, Brad. That's what they all say.
Good morning, everybody that's watching the show. I was just saying that we are changing Keith's name, Mr. Crypto Bullseye. We're just going to start calling him Winner. He just won the Infinite Agape vote for the second time in a row, picked up another $500 in Infinite Agape tokens. And congratulations to the 21 people that voted for Floki. We gave all 21 of you $25 worth of Infinite Agape tokens. Not a bad ROI. Spend $77 to be able to vote and get back $25 additional in Infinite Agape tokens. So congratulations to everyone that was a part of that. And now it's all reset. The nominations are reset for the next 12 days, and then we will do the voting again. But congratulations, and thank you for being here, folks. If this is your first time on the channel, my name's Brad Varnell. This is the Infinite Crypto YouTube channel. The gentleman that you see sitting here is Keith from Crypto Bullseye. He's been a guest on our Tuesday Trader show now for, man, probably about a month straight. Have you clicked up to 10,000 subscribers yet, Keith? Or are we just getting significantly, you got to be within, what, 30, 40, 50 subscribers?
Oh, we are, Brad, 46 subscribers away. 46 subscribers. It's painful, this, you know.
Man, I do. 46 subscribers away from 10,000. So, guys, let me click over here, share my screen real quick. And if you have not subscribed to Mr. What did I do? Oh, I got to remove you and then add me here. There we go. So if you have not subscribed, right here in the top of this description, you've got join the Crypto Bullseye family here. The very top link is going to take you, should take you right to his YouTube channel. Yeah. And you can subscribe here. We've got some incredible videos. Once again, I mentioned this last week, but look at how often he's putting out videos. 2 days ago, 3 days ago, 3 days ago, 2 days ago, 2 days ago, 2 days ago. I mean, there's like a lot of different videos coming out, a lot of solid content. So you're going to be at 10,000 here probably before the day is over. But let's see if we can be a part of that, folks. If there's anybody on the live stream right now that has not subscribed to Crypto Bullseye, please go subscribe to his channel right now. In fact, I'll put this link. I'll make it real easy for you. Let me put this link down here in the chat. This should hyperlink you right to his channel. If you are not a subscriber of Crypto Bullseye, go subscribe right now. If you haven't seen him and I in the last month, stick around. You're going to learn some incredible trading tools. Keith is going to kind of go over what he thinks is happening in the market, what he thinks is most likely to happen next. Talk about a few tokens that potentially have good trading setups. So you're not going to want to miss this, and you definitely want to be subscribed to his channel.
Thank you, Brad, for that intro, and thank you for the kind words, and appreciate each and every single one of the subscribers as well. It's been a long 3.5 years, but it's starting to get traction behind us now, and we're starting to get a lot of people, and I think the retail's starting to come back. I was watching some things. Let me just click comments, because that's the one thing that I haven't done for the last few videos. I can see what you guys are saying now. Thanks, guys. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Welcome, Vanish. Welcome, Pit Bear. Welcome, Dave. Thank you, guys. So, yeah, as far as the markets are concerned, let's get back to the markets. I'm just intrigued, Brad, because last time it said just private chat on the right-hand side. And then when we mentioned before after the video, I said you click comments, and there they are. There's the comments. They're appearing. I can actually see people this time. So I can respond to you guys. let's make it an interactive one. You hit with me what it is that you guys want. What is it that you guys are in? What are you concerned about? Because in the Discord group, there was quite a few concerns this morning about the market and what's going to be happening with the market, because we got a little bit of a Sunday rally going into a Monday pump, and then that was all reversed back on the Tuesday. So a lot of people are scared. But what I actually think, Brad, is we're pulling back now, and we're pulling back into FOMC. I mean, when you look at Bitcoin, we've pulled back a couple of percent on Bitcoin, and yeah, it's horrible that we've dropped. Let me just zoom in on this, paint a picture what's happening in the world. Right, what have we dropped on Bitcoin? So from the open so far on Bitcoin today, we are down a whopping 0.54%. If you're calling it from this move here, we've had a drop from the top of this channel all the way down. That's 2.12%. The altcoins have been battered a little bit more, and we'll talk about that a little bit later on, but you can see that Bitcoin's been in this sideways range now. We talk about the rotation. How long is this sideways range? Go all the way back from here. We talk about the rotation. When the rotation happens, Bitcoin tends to go sideways, lets the market cool off while the rest of the markets cap start increasing their dominance. So you can see that's 18 days Bitcoin's been going sideways and doing absolutely nothing. But each time we get one of these pumps, it creates a bigger pump in the altcoins, and that's when people are getting excited, and that's when people are getting into the market. And when those altcoins are pumping, obviously when they retrace a lot harder. So if you're getting in near the top of that pump, it does hurt, and it does hurt a lot more. So I can see why there's a lot of people that don't understand the market at the moment, and they're wondering what's going to happen next. And I think that going into FOMC tomorrow, Brad, we've got built in, I think poly markets have put like a 5% chance of a rate cut tomorrow. So there's 5% chance of a rate cut tomorrow, and then there's something like a 66% chance of a rate cut built in for the September one. Seems like a long way away, September, but we're pretty much in August now. So it's not just a little bit over a month. So they've got the rate cut built in. Now, there's been a lot of pressure over the last couple of weeks with the Fed, and could there be a possibility that we could get even a 0.25 basis point rate cut? And the reason why I'm saying that is just looking at the charts and looking at the Bitcoin chart. I can see that we're dropping, the altcoins are dropping, and I just get a funny feeling that if you're dropping, going into something when the news is expected just to be stagnant anyway, we're dropping into something where, worst case scenario, what's going to happen? I mean, they're not going to increase rates. We know that they're not going to increase rates. So it's a case of decreasing or holding stagnant. And there's 95% possibility, and even more in some places, that you're going to get a stagnant rate stability this FOMC. But the markets just tell a little bit of a story, and it is a punt. It is a punt. There's a 5% chance. Everyone's given a 5% chance, but it just feels like that the damage has been done over the last few days. The FOMC, I can't think what you can do to make it any worse than what it actually is, other than hike the rates, which is not the time to hike the rates. I mean, you can imagine what a rate hike could do now. It just completely decimate everything that's happening as far as the markets are concerned. It's not in Jerome Powell's interest to do that. It's not in anyone's interest to do that. So I think that it's indecision, Brad. This is what creates sideways, and we're waiting for the market to make its next move. For it to make its next move, we need to get tomorrow out the way. So it was all good. Even I was getting hyped up at the weekend because of the Sunday pump. Even I was looking at the pullback levels, and yeah, there's more wiggle room on the altcoins to pull back even more. But if we get today, get tomorrow out the way, and then we'll be dictated by Mr. Powell.
Okay, makes sense. Yeah, I, like everybody else, I don't think that I'm necessarily worried. Like long term, we know what is coming, but I am getting a little frustrated, if you will, in the short term. You know, it really looked like altcoin season was upon us, and then like you mentioned, we had some pretty big downside last week, and then I was in Mexico doing some missions trip stuff, and so I really tried to put my phone away and be present, but I ain't going to lie, on Sunday when we were heading back for America, I was pretty excited. I looked at my phone, and, that one HBAR trade was back up well into the $5,000 range in profit. I think it might have even peaked up as high as like 5,500. My Polkadot trade was up at around, I want to say it was in the ballpark of around a $800 profit, and I'm looking right now at my week's exchange account, and man, my Polkadot trade is all the way down to $387, and my HBAR trade has dropped all the way down to 4,300. So from 5,300 to 4,300, that's roughly, call it in the ballpark of about 25%. And so, I mean, I'm not overly worried about the long term, but I am starting to wonder, when in the world are they going to let the bulls take hold and do their thing?
Yeah, no, completely get that sentiment. I've given some money back to the markets over the last couple of days as well. Just unrealized gains, that is, Brad. It's not realized until it's realized. But yeah, some unrealized. I was the main one was AVAX. So two ones that I'm in at the moment is Cardano, AVAX. I mentioned to you previously, I was in about 10 different trades and they were all closed out because I just wanted to manage the two trades and manage bigger trades and build bigger positions. So, I mean, AVAX and Cardano at the moment, and AVAX trade was absolutely smashing it on Monday. And then, yeah, that money that was gained on the AVAX trade was given back to the market. So that's pretty much break even now, that one. Cardano one, slight loss, but not too concerned about that one.
Yeah. It's sometimes, it can feel like, I'm sure that you felt like this, and a lot of the people that are watching feel like this. Like, sometimes it feels like no matter what you do, it ends up being the wrong thing. So, like, I had that avalanche trade that I showed you, a couple 2 or 3 weeks ago with the 20x leverage. And I mean, I made good money on that trade, but unfortunately, I decided to go ahead. I had invested $150 in that. It was worth a little over 600. And I went ahead and closed out that trade and just realized all of the profit. But I got into that trade at around $18, and it had only gone up to around 21-ish when I closed out the trade. Had I let that run, as you know, Avalanche went all the way up to 24, 25. So I have to assume, I didn't do the exact math, but I have to assume that $600 profit would have doubled, maybe even tripled into, the $1,200 to $1,800 profit range. Feel a little bit like that with these. I keep the HBAR, I guess my HBAR trade, it keeps hitting its head at around that 28-cent mark, 28 to 29.
Yeah.
And I guess that must be the next, we haven't really discussed what the next level of resistance is, but just having watched it, because I've had that HBAR trade in now for probably 2 months, month and a half easy. And it keeps getting up to 28 and change and being worth $5,000 or so. And then I'm thinking, okay, beautiful. If this thing can break through, it's probably going to run to 35, 40 cents. And that $5,000 is going to turn into, $8,000, $10,000. And at that point in time, I was pretty excited to go ahead and pull out another chunk. But at this point, I'm kind of wishing that, that I would have pulled out some when it's hit that 53, 54, 5,500 mark, so that I had some capital to put back into the markets on days like today.
Yeah, 100%. No, I get you with that. It's especially when you've got a higher leverage position as well. It's certainly, you can get the gains quite quickly and realize them quite quickly as well, or lose them quite quickly as well. So we can have a quick look at the HBAR trade. Should we have a look, see how it's doing, and see what resistance levels? Because you were saying 46. Let's find HBAR.
I'm thinking, somewhere around 28 something. I did notice on CoinGecko that it looked like it was saying that HBAR touched 30 cents briefly. I don't think I was looking at my phone, because I don't remember seeing my trade being worth what it probably would have been worth at 30 cents. But HBAR is saying that CoinGecko is saying over the last 7 days, it's been as low as 23.32 and as high as 30.24. But I'm guessing that for the most part, if we go back and look at it, that over the last month or two, every time it hits around 28, 29 cents seems to be where it ends up getting rejected.
That's it there, yeah. So it's done a double top. It's done a double top, and what you can read between these candlesticks for the short term is you've had a double top, and that's a completed double top, and then you've got a 3-bar reversal on top of that. So the 3-bar reversal means, and that's these 3 candles here. You can read a lot between, without even adding any indicators, without even adding anything. You can read a lot between these candlesticks. It's telling you a story. So the story is that you've hit a resistance point. You've had a resistance point. you could see this wick tells a story as well. You've had a resistance point, which was previous resistance. So you've done a double top. And then the next one here, which is the third one, which completes the 3-bar reversal. You've got 2 points here that are of interest. One is the extreme low of this previous candle. You've got to ignore the close. You're going for the extreme. So the extreme's important, and that means that we've managed to take out the extreme low of the previous day, which signals the following candle should theoretically be red. So we're having a red candle today, and we're potentially going to have another lower low, lower close candle, which means we need to come back to another support base. So if you're talking short term, that's what we're talking here, short term. You've hit 618, Brad. There's a support. That's 618 exactly. So support, there's one support, 25.9, 26 cents, call it. You can see there, that's where it was this resistance point here. Resistance point there. You can see it was holding support at these levels here. We just pull this back. So we're at a significant support base now. You can tell how this level was respected as support, respected as resistance. Now we'd expect it to respect support. So you've got this as the first area, and then you've got the 78.6 down here, 24, 0.24. So it's currently holding that now, Brad. And if we do hold that going in tomorrow, what you'll probably see is a bit of a doji candle, which is something that looks a little bit like this, where at some point during the day, the bulls have pushed price all the way to the top and the bears have pushed price all the way to the bottom. You've ended up with indecision. Now, it all depends on what FOMC is what's going to happen on FOMC. I mean, a couple of things. What would be positive if we didn't get a rate cut? A signal that he was going to do a significant shift during the course of the year. I think there was 16 members on the council, and there's 10 council members now that are saying that they want 2 rate cuts going forward. So that'll be the September and November, is it? I'm not sure when the one after that is, but that'd be two rate cuts before the end of the year. So out of the committee of 16, 10 of them want 2 rate cuts, 6 of them want to stabilize for the rest of the year without any rate cuts. So it's in favor of rate cuts. It's just when are we going to get the rate cuts? One thing that we could see is hawkish behavior tomorrow, and if we get hawkish behavior will be enough to start pushing sentiment forward. If we just jump back into the macro, what I call the macro within crypto, quite quickly, and you actually think about why people are starting to panic and why people are starting to be fearful, we can tell a story from the charts that we've been looking at for the last few weeks on this channel and for a long time on my channel. And we'll start off with this, the Bitcoin dominance, and this is what we were talking about before. So what happened is we've come back and we've hit a support base. How did we know we were going to hit a support base? This happened before we'd bounced here. This was a support base. We knew that this was going to be the next level of support because of this build up of price action here. We knew this was going to act as support. So we've come back down, we've hit a support base. Now, when you're looking at Bitcoin dominance is not going to go down in a straight line, unfortunately. If we just zoom out on the weekly, unfortunately, it's not going to go down in a straight line like this. You've got your peaks and you've got your troughs, and it's going to go down like this. Sometimes you'll get a significant push, but you're going to have areas of support you need to fall back on. When you have the areas of support you need to fall back on, like we're at now, you need to think one thing. This is Bitcoin starting to outperform altcoins in the short term. So we've had a bounce. You can see we've had a double bottom here, and now we're having a bit of a recovery. Where we're going to get a resistance point, it's going to be this point here. That's going to be the next resistance between 61 and 62. So we're expecting to get resistance there. We're also expecting resistance at the 62.63. If we manage to break through here, you can see we nearly got kissed on that. We talked about that at the video at the weekend that I done. So we nearly kissed the 200 daily moving average. Didn't manage to get there. Potentially we could come back up, test that. It's probably going to be resistance, and then you're going to get another leg down. Whilst that's happening, Bitcoin's doing nothing. Bitcoin's going sideways. So you can see Bitcoin's recovering whilst it's going sideways. And whilst that's happening, altcoins are bleeding against Bitcoin. Now, we've got the exception. We've got this guy here, Mr. Ethereum. And Ethereum, on this swing, we wanted this swing to go up and extend past the 1-to-1. And we also wanted to break back into this longer term trading pattern. So we've managed to do that. That's bullish. We're holding that level. We're pulling back now. So Ethereum has been smashing it in comparison to the rest of the altcoins. Why is that? Because Ethereum's the second least risky asset. Now, retail, when you look at retail, I was looking at Benjamin Cohen either yesterday or the day before, and he was saying about the retail metric, and the retail is definitely not back here. And he was explaining that the rally this year, or the crypto cycle this year, is driven more by ETFs, which is outside of crypto, which means that we're not getting the on-risk rally. However, the metric showed that the retail is not in yet, by YouTube views, by all the metrics that he used to work that out. So we are still low as far as retail is concerned. We know that, Brad, when you look at my views and your views compared to the views where we're in the middle of a bit of a bull hype, or when the alts are starting to go up and starting to outperform Bitcoin in the short term, you can see that the retail is not there. Retail is not there compared to 2021. It's not there compared to 2017. So that's what we're waiting for, is for the retail to get confidence. And I think that we've probably got a couple of weeks of positive news. We've got obviously the FOMC. We don't know what's going to happen with the FOMC, but there's a couple of things that's coming out which could actually accelerate the retail sentiment as far as regulations concerned, as far as new bills are concerned, as far as, well, there's just lots of things happening out there at the moment. So you can see it's got to be driven by Ethereum next. Ethereum's got its ETFs. Ethereum's the second least risky asset. And then we look at Ethereum against Bitcoin. Look at how this has followed, Brad. It's perfect. This is what we were expecting. Now it's above the 200 daily moving average. Now we're expecting the acceleration. There's nothing that's changed. People are scared, but there's nothing that's changed. Look at these little candles. People are scared on these little candles, which are 1.4%. But you don't realize that you've done like 2 or 3% here, and you've got a 3% drop here. This was just a week ago. People can't remember a week ago. People are thinking what's happening now compared to yesterday and the day before. These things are still playing out, and they're still playing out in accordance with the plan. You can see here we expected the USDT dominance to start pushing back up. That's what's happening here. USDT dominance pushing back up. Doesn't mean we're going to turn completely bearish. Doesn't mean that the market's going to crash. Just means that this is retesting this previous area here, which it needs to act as resistance. That area there, we need to use that as resistance level going forward. So expect that to come back as resistance and then push back down. And that is a trend continuation. So there's nothing changed there until it's changed. When's that going to be invalidated? It's going to be invalidated all the way up here. 5.31%. It's miles away. That's that lower high there. So we've got loads of room there. That's still in play. USDT dominance looking good. We're getting a bit of a pullback. People are starting to go into stable coins while there's indecision with Bitcoin, while we've got an FOMC meeting. You can see, you can paint a picture between the charts. So the next thing that we look at is what we're going to look at next, S&P 500. How's that doing? So we're still at new all-time highs in the S&P 500. It looks like it needs to cool off now. You can see the stochastic RSI is at the top. Stochastic RSI is at the top here. That needs to cool off. That needs to cool off. That'll probably cool off and retest this previous resistance point that we couldn't get through as support as this starts to flow down. So you've got to expect downside with upside as long as you're putting in higher lows. But unfortunately, when people are buying the highs, that's just lows for them. Whereas the people that have bought the previous swing, that's higher lows for us. It hurts, we lose, but we're still in profit in comparison to where the entry price was. So it is, that's why we do hone in on the entry points. And that's why we hone in on all the time that it is about patience a lot of the time, and bringing down your risk and increasing your reward is an easy thing if you've got patience. So the S&P is looking good. I can't see any crash here, Brad. Total 3, pulling back on total 3. We were at one point 4.06% away from breaking total 3. We're now 14% away from breaking total 3. That's $140 billion that needs to go into the crypto market. I mean, $140 billion, it sounds like a lot, right? When you look at something like this swing here, there's your $140 billion, Brad, that little swing there. So all I'm saying is another swing up, we could break, we could close total 3, and that could be my scaling out point. which I've been talking about for a long time. So, I mean, as far as the macro is concerned, Brad, you've got things like the Russell 2000, that's starting to increase, that's starting to gain traction. You look at the Russell 2000 as the high risk, you look at Russell 2000 as kind of the total 3 of the stock market. So you can see that that's gaining traction as well as total 3 gaining traction. So although the Bitcoin's going sideways, it's waiting for its next move. Dominance is starting to pull back. Everything looks fine to me. Looks normal. It looks healthy. Altcoins are a different picture. We've had a bit more of a pullback on those. So I don't know if any of the guys want to hit me with any altcoins, or if you've got anything that you want me to look at, Brad. What's this? Paul TRX. I'll have a look at Paul's TRX. Let's have a look, get these up. On the spot, this guys. I haven't been looking at the charts today. TRX. I haven't been reading the comments either, so apologies for anything that I've missed. Tron. Oh. See, this is annoying, this push here, because this is going to be a cup and handle, or it's going to be some kind of a big move once you get a break of this point here, but you've got so far away to get to that point there. So you have to play it in the shorter term. You can see that we're getting a bit of a breakout in the shorter term here. So one thing that I'd be looking for in the shorter term, Paul, is where's this candle going to close? If we get a close above, where is it to the exact T? 0.3344, that's showing strength. I think that there's a possibility, mate, that we're going to come back in here. When we get a candle close, you'll see that it's going to be pretty much exactly the same as there, or a little bit further in. So, I mean, you can go down into the 4 hour, but what I would do is wait to see if you get a candle close. If you get a candle close there, firstly, where are we on the stochastic? You've still got a bit of wiggle room on the stochastic to push up. If you do get a candle close, and it is around about this area here, it doesn't make too, I mean, it would make a little bit of sense for me to start taking a small entry here, knowing you've got a stop loss down there. So you've got quite a bit of wiggle room for your stop loss down here. That's what I'm saying. That's 11%. So I mean, from a leverage position, if you had like 11%, that's on a 3x, that's 33%. So that can hit you hard with things like that. The way that I'd play it is I'd want to retest. So I'd want to break. And then once I've got a retest, I can forget that area and understand that this is my new area, then have a smaller stop loss on there. That's how I'd play that, mate. As far as projections are concerned, you've got, I've just gone to the 4 hour. You've got, it's a big resistance barrier that we're at now, mate. This potentially could get wiped out. If we actually look at the volume on there, stick a fixed range volume profile, you'll probably find that there's not much volume on there. So let me just chuck that on. Yeah, so you can see a limited amount of volume here. So it might actually break through and you might accelerate. So if you can get an entry, a break and a retest here, mate, and then you can push your targets up just to retest the top, 14.4%, and then just trail it. None of it's financial advice. So stick this on there. As you're putting in your swing highs, swing lows, putting your stop loss with you. Sorry, you're putting your stop loss up with you. That's straight away you're in profit. You can put your stops to break even straight away and then just ride it up. And then what happens if it does something like this? It pushes back down and you're in profit. So that's how I would play that. It's a bit of a difficult one, that one. But yeah, you got to look more short term on that, I think. Try and get an entry because you are breaking, but you definitely want to wait to see what happens on this candle close in 7 hours and 16 minutes.
What are you thinking about ICP these days?
I've been doing a lot on ICP. We've got such a big ICP community. Let's have a look. So we've got our momentum line here. Right, we've got a momentum line here. We've got a rejection at the 200. We're waiting for a break and we're waiting for a close above this 200 because that's going to give an acceleration. That's going to give an acceleration. How do we know that? Because of this gap here. Because of this gap here, and you can see that this resistance, and now this resistance hasn't been broken through, but the knock in and the knock in and then knock in. And the more times that you knock through the ceiling, the higher chance you've got of bashing through. So we've got a momentum line here. We're coming back, we're testing the momentum line. If this breaks further down to the downside, you're looking at $5 and $5 to $5. And then to test the previous lows, $4.29. I don't think it's going to come back down and test the previous lows. So as long as we maintain this trend going into tomorrow, see what the news is going to be. Like I say, mate, I can't see any negative. I can't see what can be so negative on the FOMC tomorrow. I think worst case scenario, you're probably going to get a bit of dovish sentiment on the back of it. You'll probably get, you're not going to cut rates, but however, we're going to be doing this, and there's a higher probability that we're going to cut in September or something like that. It's really weird though when you watch Jerome Powell speak, and it's like a massive manipulated speech, because he'll talk with one sentence and you'll see that the market gets crashed down with the one candle, and then you'll see the next one's a little bit more positive, and then you get a positive candle, and it absolutely wrecks you when you trade and during these kind of news events. So I always say stay out of news events, wait for the market to cool down, because we've got indecision now. We don't exactly know 100% what's going to happen. That means there's uncertainty. That means people are holding Bitcoin. Bitcoin's going sideways. That means people are holding dollars. Dominance, USDT dominance is going up. So once they've made the mind up and we start seeing a flow, then we can just jump on the back of that flow. But you can see this ICP, the resistance, the big resistance is $6.15. So once we break that in the 200 daily moving average, got resistance up here at $8.93. But I mean, mate, up here, when you just look at this, I'm going to zoom out on ICP on the weekly a minute. You can see this trading range here. So this trading range, April 2022, March 2022, we've put in lower highs, we've put in lower highs, we've put in lower highs, just to a lower high here. So this is all in the bear market, just to a lower high here from where price is now. That's 148% to the upside, just for testing the top of this trading pattern that's been tested 3 times in a bear market with higher prices, higher prices. So what I've done is I've stuck my Fibonacci level from this lower high here. When you look at that lower high, and I just zoom out and you see the all-time high, it looks insignificant. So I'm not being greedy. I'm going with that lower high there, and just to the 38.2 if we measure from where price is now. See how little the candles are now when you zoom out. 579%. So I am in ICP myself, but in the short term, that's what I'm looking for, Brad, that breakout of the 200 daily. Jump over. What else, guys? What else? Let's have a look. Let me go through some of these. Just reading. I can't multitask, guys. I'm rubbish at multitasking. I'm a typical man. So I'm reading, looking at charts, doing YouTube, talking to Brad. 4 things at once. That's crazy. Polkadot. Let's have a look at Polkadot. Who's that? Crypto lover. Let's have a look.
So while you're pulling that up, I just wanted to mention Paul asked, how much does it cost to nominate a project? And the answer to that, Paul, is you need $777 worth of the Infinite Agape token in order to nominate a project. And then the winning nominator gets $500 either in Infinite Agape token or in USDT. It looks like it's going to be Infinite Agape token for a little bit. But yeah, so $777 investment gives you an opportunity to win $500 in value every 2 weeks.
Not a bad investment, my friend.
What token are you talking about now? Polkadot?
We're talking about Polkadot now. So, right, perfect. Okay. Let's have a look. Polkadot. So basically what we've done in the Polkadot video, this was on the video on my channel, Brad. So I've used a Fibonacci extension tool this time from the bottom here to the top. And you can see that this is a bit of a small swing here that comes back down to this level. So by the time that you've put a high in here, this candle here, that's the high, $3.65. So we've got to measure it from that high, which I've done. It is to the left, but it is at that level to the left, and exactly the same here. So measuring that to this lower high level here, because that's the high and that's the lower high after that, the higher low, sorry, after that. You can see that you hit the 1618. So this is a big wave 3. This is a big wave 3 that got rejected at the 200 daily moving average. And we got a big 3-bar reversal. That candle absolutely wiped the previous 1, 2, couple of weeks worth of action. And that's what happens sometimes. And it is painful when that happens. So anyone that's building a dot position up here, that does hurt. However, we were talking about it from the bottom of this pattern here. So anybody that's got in from the bottom of this pattern here is doing all right. But let's talk about this current move. So we're measuring we're measuring. And what we're going to do is I'm going to go from the bottom here all the way to the top. Just because of the confusion of this swing, where you're going to put this swing. And you can see straight away the price is respecting these levels. Price is respecting these Fibonacci levels, which is telling us that more people are using it from the bottom of this swing to the top of this swing rather than here or here. So that's where we're sticking the fib. You can see rejected, support, support, and now we've bounced off the 0.5 level. So the 50% level here has been respected. Let me just check, see if there's divergence in the short term. No, there's no divergence. If there was a divergence here, what you'd want to see in the short term from this swing is a higher low up here. We haven't, we've got a lower low. So that means that price is telling exactly the same story as what buying pressure and selling pressure is telling us, as what the RSI is telling us. So you're waiting for one thing now. Potentially we're going to come back here, 618. Why do I say that? 618, $3.65.9, call it $3.66, because firstly, it's the golden zone, it's the 618. Secondly, look at how price rejected here at this point here. So there's a chance we're going to come back down to this level here. Coming back down to this level here would look pretty good to me. And you can tell one thing, because we've put in a higher high here and we've put in a higher low here, even if we come back down here, that's still putting in a higher low. That's still maintaining this structure. That's still taking out that lower high. That's still signaling bulls have got momentum. But we just needed to do one thing. We needed to cool off. And we knew that because of this, that bad boy there telling us we needed to cool off at this level. So we didn't manage to break the 200 daily moving average. I'd said on the channel, if we did break, if we did close above the 200 daily moving average, then the chances are when this fella fell back down, he would fall back down, but at a support level down here rather than a support level down here. So it is all about breaking this 200 and then maintaining the structure. So on DOT, potentially, Brad, $3.62. If we just look at the midterm, just look at the midterm. You've got this big 382, so that's 38.2. Scale that. That's the 38.2 from its previous, sorry, from this lower high here, which was same time as what we were measuring ICP, March 2022. So that's the conservative 382. The big 382 is up here, which is 22.64. So that's $11. You've got a little bit of resistance here, which is, let's just measure that. Where do you reckon is the biggest sticking point? It's around about. You've got $6.30, so you've got $6.30, and obviously you've got the big daddy 200 moving average there that we need to take in the short term. That's what I'm seeing on DOT. People are getting a little bit worried now though, because people have bought up here, and people that bought up here when I was doing my polka dot video at resistance, and now 15-16% down. Yeah, 15-16% down. I said it on the Jasmy video as well, Brad. When I was doing my Jasmy coin video, I said we were at a resistance point, wait for a pullback, wait for a pullback. And because I'd done a Jasmy coin video and I'd said that things were looking good because we're putting in higher lows, because this swing 3 is bigger than this swing 1. We're in a swing 4 and we're expecting a big swing to the upside. People were putting so much hate in the comments, but if they'd have actually watched the video, they might not have watched the video. If they'd watched the video, they would have seen that it was at resistance. And I'd said, if you're at resistance and the stochastic's telling you you were overbought, you need to do one thing, you need to wait for a pullback. So it is different people interpreting things. And unfortunately, when people see my Jasmy coin video and it got about 2,000-3,000 views, a lot of those would have bought up here. And I never give any buy targets. I never give any kind of sell targets. I don't give any kind of financial advice. I'll show you what I'm doing. But I mean, people that bought up here at 0.0203 cents have just dropped, like say 19-20%. So it does hurt. That does hurt for those people, but it doesn't hurt as much for the people down here. That's what we talk about. So it is all about interpretation. And when you've got, imagine 2,000-3,000 people watching a video, and then that's 2,000 or 3,000 different minds. And I don't know whether me explaining it correctly or whether people interpret it differently. There's lots of different reasons why people might not understand exactly what it is that I'm saying. They might be new to trading, but I'm hoping that I do explain it in a way where people collectively can start understanding that it is a patience game a lot of the time. And you can do a video, and I'll do a Jasmine video, I'll do an ICP video, Polkadot video, whatever. But you need to understand the structure, the resistance points, the support points, and you need to understand what happens if the thing that you're doing and the thing that you think that's going to go right goes wrong, how you prepare for that.
Yep, makes sense. Another token that was on my radar that I'm kind of curious, we were talking about ADA on the last stream, and it was sitting all the way at, I think it was at about 89 cents, and we were thinking that it was getting ready to break through and potentially head for $2, and now it's dropped all the way down to about 78 cents, and I was just wondering what your thoughts are on ADA.
Yeah, I'm in my ADA position. It's quite a strong one as well. So as far as my position is probably not as big as yours as far as what wiggle room I've got is concerned. Well, sorry, I've got a lot more wiggle room than probably your position, Brad, is what I'm saying. But no, my position's strong. And I think it is all a matter of perspective, because you've got to look at this and you've got to understand $2. Where is $2? So I've been talking about ADA a lot on my channel, and I've talked about it on your channel. And I've said that once we get this $1.32, that's when you get the big acceleration to $2. So you've got to get to the $1.32 first. That's going to be the next resistance barrier. And that's what we need to be looking at. Now, look at these candles and look how squashed up these candles are. This here is 250 days, Brad. So that's 250 days. I'm not sure if people expect something like this to happen. $2, because that's not going to happen. You've got resistance barriers to break through. So this was a big move here, and that big move there lasted for 27 days. So that's 27 days, Brad, just for that big move there. And you can see how volatile that spike was. Like, you don't get much bigger, you don't get much volatile than that. And if you just replicate that and then stick that on here, you could see that these things take time. These things take time to play out. Even if it's as volatile as that, it's still going to play out over 27 days or whatever it was. Not that it's going to be 27 days, but however long the market decides it's going to take. So it's not going to happen tomorrow. We're still in a bullish pattern. We've still taken out this lower high. We've put in a high structure. We've put in a higher low structure, and we're testing a support base, which is a strong support base. That support base goes all the way down to the 200 daily moving average, which we're above now. That's bullish, 73 cents. And then we're holding 77 cents. So we just stick a fib on as well. See if there's any strong points that we're holding. Probably the 382. 382. So you're holding the 382 here. So we've got so much support to fall back on. And yeah, I'm bullish on ADA. I'm still bullish. There's nothing that's changed. It's just taken a little bit longer than potentially we'd have thought. We would have all liked this breakout here, but we didn't get it. That's what we're waiting for, is a breakout. Waiting for a breakout, waiting to take out 85 cents. Then I can't see any resistance all the way to $1.32. Once you break $1.32, little resistance all the way to $2. So you're going to get the big swings once you break these big resistance barriers. Once you start taking out this high here at 94 cents, then you could start making big swings all the way at the $1.32. We're probably not going to crack straight through the $1.32, but once we get a pullback and then another smash at the ceiling, then once you get a break and a close above that, that's showing that the bulls have got conviction, and then that's when the acceleration starts.
Okay. So let me, the good, bad, and the ugly. One of the reasons that I asked, and I know that you said something to me in our personal chat about, part of my weakness is that I always want to just jump right in with the 10x leverage. But part of the reason I asked, a little frustrated, you might not be able to see it on your screen. People on their cell phone definitely can't see it. But last week we were talking, I had that $500 trade in that BYDFI had given me, some funds to trade with, and it ended up getting liquidated. Now that's my own fault. When it got down close to liquidation, it looked like it was kind of bouncing back up, and I decided not to take the other 500 that I had in my account and do a ladder with it. I probably should have, but because I don't think if I would have done a ladder that it would have gotten liquidated. But the reason I'm asking is because, it came all the way down from around 89 cents, I think was my entry originally, came down and liquidated here at 79.67. And then, I thought, well, now it's all the way down at 79 and I've got another 500. Surely it's got to be thinking about heading back up. So what do? I put in a $500 trade with 10x leverage at 79.03, and now it's all the way down to 78 already. And you can see here I'm down $66 of my 496, and it was actually about $118 not that long ago. So it's bounced back up. But you can see on this chart here, when this thing was down here at just under 77, I was probably stuck 150 of that 500 already. So my liquidation on this is 71 cents, 7157. What do you think about this trade, and how likely do you think it is for ADA to potentially drop all the way down to that 71.57, and this 500 gets liquidated also?
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, if I'm honest with you, Brad, it's playing with fire a little bit, because 71.57, it's about here. So all you need is a little spike down, which can end up back up here again on the day. So
yeah,
something like this, and then a hammer candle, and a hammer candle, which pushes price all the way back up, and you get something like that. That's all you need to liquidate your price. So with scaling down a position, if you were to scale down a position and you said you had another entry above here, 74.40, and you said that you were going to match whatever your first position is, but instead of doing a 10x, you were going to do a 5x, that would bring your average position to a 7.5x. So you're still playing with fire. Now, the thing that I prefer to do is dip your toe in the water at these levels. Then you're watching the chart, you're looking at exactly what's happening, what the sticking points are. Are you at support? Are you at resistance? So you're at a support base, you're dipping your toe in the water, you've got a small position in there, but you're waiting for one thing, you're waiting for confirmation to happen. You understand there's signs on the chart that tell us when we're going to get that confirmation. The first one's going to be the break. The break's telling us that there's a high probability that that is the higher low, the low is in, the local low is in. So that's the first sign. Get rid of that. At this point here, if I was in a position at support here and I was in a low position, just pretend that it was $1,000 and I was in $100 here on a 2 or a 3x. Once I've got a break here and I understand that that is a high probability, not a certainty, a higher probability that that's the higher low. At that point, once I've got a break and a close, as long as I can put my position at break even at this point, like that. As long as I can put my position at break even at this point, Brad, then I'm happy to start increasing. So at that point there, I would go from a hypothetical 2, 3 to a 4 or a 5. When you start breaking these big levels here, that's when you can start going higher. And it is averaging your position up, but it is reversing the mentality when you're doing trading. Averaging your position up when you're trading, in my opinion, the way that I work is better than averaging your position down in trading, because with trading, you could get high volatile spikes to the downside, especially when you're leverage trading. So you're better off being cautious, building a position with a low leverage, giving yourself lots of wiggle room in case something goes bad, get in that position, maintaining that you've got still a position in there, but you've got all of that wiggle room, which is, i.e. the other $900, to be able to make choices. And that's what it's about. Do you want to buy even lower? What kind of position do you want to do? Put a higher leverage or lower leverage? What happens if that goes wrong and then you put in a new low? Would you like to take advantage of that, as long as the structure's maintained? So you've got to give yourself options, and it is all about options. And if you, in my opinion, put $500 into something that's only got 10% wiggle room, then you haven't really got many options.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely. Makes sense. And I've mentioned it before. I'm way more aggressive with this 500 than I would be probably if it was
your own money.
if it was cash out of my own pocket. Similar, like if I go to a casino and they give me, some free play, or, there's different promotions at casinos. So if they give you free play, or they give you, like they'll give you chips sometimes that don't have any cash value. You can't take the chip to the cage and get cash for it. But if you bet the chip and win, then you can cash out the winnings. And so in situations like that, a lot of times I'll be more aggressive than if it was just, my 500. But at the same time, I am getting tired of losing BYDFI's 500 over and over and over. So looking forward to hitting out. Granted,
when's the next one?
I can lose 500 9 times, and then on the 10th time, I hit it for, hit a 10x or whatever, and turn 500 into 5,000, like I have on the HBAR trade. Luckily, that HBAR trade is with my own money. But anyways, I agree with you that I'm definitely more aggressive than I should be, and I definitely trade more on, feelings or fundamentals. Like, to me, if getting in on a trade for ADA at 89 was a good time to, get in on a trade, then I'm thinking, well, at 79, it's really got to be good. But I hear you, and I appreciate your.
Yeah. Let's do the next one together as a community.
Okay.
Let's do the next one together as a community, because it'll be fun, because it'll be good to start bringing in risk management tools and understanding where the support and the resistance is. But when you just put it in perspective, when you just zoom out on the Cardano chart, you could just kind of see, like, even 89, what was it? What did you say? 89 cents when you bought the first one, even 89 cents for Cardano. If it was like not a trade, would be good, in my opinion. Yeah. I mean, you zoom out and that's your perspective.
Yeah. So what, 89, if I would have done 3x leverage instead of having, so a 10x leverage on 89, I had 8.9 cents. Yeah. So I would have had a roughly 3 times that. So with a 3x leverage trade, even at 89, it would have never even came anywhere near close to liquidation.
No.
And now I'd still have that 500 in play, and I would have the 500 that's in this new trade, and then the 500 that I got today. So I would have that $500 trade in play with 3x leverage, and I'd have 1,000 sitting in my account that I could be trading with, instead of having 500 that was gone, that was liquidated. And now, this 500 has the potential to get liquidated, as you mentioned, if we retraced all the way down to, 70, a little over 71 cents, this 500 would be gone. So I'm starting to figure out why you like to start a trade with a little bit lower leverage. And then, like you mentioned, waiting for the confirmation, waiting for, the breakout, waiting for it to get above a certain level before you start adding more money and higher leverage in.
Yeah. I mean, and taking allocations off the table as well on the way. So, I mean, if you just pretend that we were in this trade here, and you're long in this position here. So you're long in this position here, and then you're at this resistance point, which you knew that was the lower high. So you expect a resistance. So you're taking profits off the table here, and just say, pretend you take 50% off the table, take 50% off the table there, and you're waiting to come back down to the next support. There's a higher probability it's going to come back down to the next support. If it doesn't come back down to the next support, then you're still 50% in the trade. So you've got options elsewhere. So there's always options. It doesn't have to be in this one. Then you've got the pullback, 10%. So if you took 50% of your allocation and then you added that, just the profits from that 50% allocation, that 50% take profit that you've took, just say you've got X amount of your own capital and then there was X amount profit. If you just add in the profit, whatever that profit margin was, down at the next support, wait for the break, and then you use the profit and then put the profit on a higher leverage. So just, for instance, $80, $90 profit from this, take profits here. You've still got the capital there waiting to work for you and be able to make choices, but you've also got the whatever, X amount, 80, 90, $100, whatever, to be able to add at this position, increase your position without actually putting more capital in there. So you can actually get that better position. It'll increase your average price. So you'll have to put your stop loss up and manage it. But as long as you put that swing higher, which is the aim of the game, then that gives you the options to be able to do it with a smaller amount of capital. So at that point there, if I'd have took some off the table here, hypothetically, and I'd come back down 10%, and that was 3x, you come back down here, and you could go 6x here, and then 10x on the break, hypothetically. That's giving yourself options, and that's actually using money that you have made from the previous trade or part of this existing trade. Yep. So you're giving yourself options, and you're saying, right, there's 50% of X. I can go and look somewhere else. I've got this trade in profit, and I want to increase this position because I've just took 50% off the table, but I don't want to increase it with the full amount that I've just taken off the table. So I'm going to go the lower amount, which is my profits, and I'm going to increase it to average out the same amount when I increase it by that amount on the position. So it is, mate. It's just lots of different things that you could do for giving yourself that edge, and it is important to just take bits off the table, because one thing that happens to me time and time again, it happened twice this week to me, and I built real nice positions with stops at break even. They've come back down and hit break even, and it means that I haven't lost anything, but it means that I've given the market money back, and it also means that I've spent a bit of time building a position, because when I build a position, it's not just I'm entering here, I'm leaving it. I'll actually work on the position to try and get my stops to break even, get myself a new swing high, put in the higher low, and I managed to do it with a couple of trades this week, which were that managed to put in 2 higher highs and 2 higher lows, and then I got my stops at break even. And because I wasn't managed them properly as far as risk management is concerned and putting my stop losses up, I didn't put my stop loss to the higher low as it put in a higher low. So if I'd have done that, those would have been slightly profitable. But instead, I rode 2 swings on both trades, and then those both swings pulled back at break even. So that wasted a bit of my time. But that's just the aim of the game. You can do it 10 times. Absolutely. You can do it 10 times, and it could come and break even once, and it'll be painful, but you just need the one.
Right. Awesome. Well, we're going to shift gears here for just a second. So I want to, I put up the branding here for BYDFI, and I want to let all of you know that they are a sponsor of the channel. They've been incredibly generous to the channel, and we're going to be able to do a little bit of a giveaway today because of BYDFI. And in order to win that giveaway, guys, you have to have a BYDFI account. So go ahead and take a look here. Click on this link. Let me pop back over to my screen. And guys, if you go to the description here in this video that we're watching, right at the very top, the first thing that you're going to see is just this join BYDFI. If you click on that link, it takes you to the page. All you got to do is an email and a password. They are United States friendly. They're most of the world friendly. They don't have a whole lot of restrictions. That's one of the reasons I love them, is I got kicked off of Bybit, KuCoin, MEXC, Binance. Most of the top exchanges, unfortunately, don't allow me to trade. And so I really enjoy BYDFI. We've been using them now for about, I'd say probably in the ballpark of about 8 or 9 months. And never had any trouble withdrawing funds, never had any trouble with them at all. So go create your account using this link in the description, or the link that I just put up here. And, full disclaimer, I do get a little bit of a commission every time you place a trade, and the fees get charged. I get a percentage of those fees, so you're also supporting the channel. But yeah, go create a BYDFI account if you haven't, because when we get ready to do the giveaway, we're going to go over to YouTube, and we're going to say, let's just say this is not a winner, but let's just say that Jeff here were to win the giveaway. I'm going to go to Jeff's channel and pull up his bio, and he is going to have he's going to put his BYDFI unique user ID, UID number in here. And we're also going to get a wallet address from you when the time comes. And then I don't want to go into this too hard, but something that's on my heart, Bullseye, is last week I went to Mexico to build houses for less privileged people. And, it was a real eye opener. These folks are not people that live all the way across the world from me. They literally, even from where I'm at in the United States, they were about an 8-hour drive. And from San Diego, where we met at a church, and then we took vans into Mexico. They were literally, an hour and a half away from San Diego. And one of the things that we realized, like we built a house for this couple that was living with their mom and dad in a one room, not even a one bedroom, just a one room house. And it was the mom and the dad. It was the Carlos and his wife, Myra, and their 2 children, 5 and 3-year-old. They had a beautiful, daughter, 3 years old, a son that was 5 years old, Carlos Jr. And then they also had his sister and her family, all of them cramped into this one house. Yeah. And a lot of the people that lived in around them, like literally their house is 4 pieces of plywood that are just kind of, fitted together with a tarp over the top of it for a roof. And we're talking about a square that is smaller than most small bedrooms in the United States and probably where you're from. And they're sleeping on dirt, which I didn't realize this, guys, but if you're sleeping on dirt, it creates a lot of health issues. It creates respiratory problems. It creates digestive problems. It's a bad deal. So you have these fathers that are sick a lot of the time, and they're not able to go work as hard as they would like to for their families. And it really put a lot of things in perspective to me. Like I've had some trouble with my air conditioning lately, and just, I downsized a little bit during the bear market to be able to afford life to to where I could stay afloat until the bull market really took hold. And I've caught myself over the last 6, 7, 8, 9 months, a year, making complaints, like saying stuff out loud that I really feel embarrassed about now, because this family, 2 29-year-old adults and then a 5-year-old and a 3-year-old, they were some of the happiest people that I've ever met, even though they are going through what we would consider to be like absolutely horrible circumstances. And I came home from that and I said, man, Brad, if you complain about any of the little things that you've been complaining about, just slap yourself silly. And long story short, though, guys, we built the house in 2 days. Now, it was only about a 340 square foot home, but we were able to create 2 bedrooms and a pretty big living area. And one of the coolest things is we took this family on a shopping trip, and we had $1,000 that we had donated to this family, and they got to buy more food. They got to buy a microwave. They got to buy the kids some toys. The kids weren't used to having, toys. They got to get the kids some toys. And man, it was just touching. I cried more over that couple of days than I normally cry in a few months. And I'm a big baby, so I do my fair share of crying. I'm an emotional guy, but man, it really touched my heart. And then the coolest thing was when we took them for the shopping trip, the rest of the builders, the rest of the volunteers and stuff, they stayed back, and unbeknownst to the family, we had beds. We got a kitchen counter with a sink, which a lot of these homes, when they get built, they're pretty much just barren. And then they have to piece together their own furniture, and there is no running water. There's no sink. When they came back, they had a brand new bed with brand new sheets, brand new pillows, things that we take for granted. Like, who cares? I've had pillows and blankets my whole life. I never remember a moment in my life where I didn't have pillows and blankets and sheets. But these guys, seriously, I don't know for sure, but I think it's a very very realistic possibility that this 5-year-old boy and 3-year-old girl never slept on a bed in their lives. And they go into their bedroom and they had bunk beds. So, and a bunch of toys. And so this boy and this girl are sitting on this bed, jumping up and down, screaming with glee, playing with their toys. And it was just amazing. And the reason that I tell all of you that is because most of the reason that this happens is because of volunteers and donors. It takes about $22,000 to build these people a home. Lay the concrete slab down to actually build the home. That's not that much, but it's still a significant chunk of money. And that was all donated from people like you and me and people that believe in the mission. But then there's also missionaries. There's people that basically do this all day long, every day, for no money. And they live off of donations from people like you and me. And so there was one young man that really stuck out, that really made an impact on me and my heart, named Morrow. And I talked about this a little bit yesterday, but this gentleman, he needs $280 a month to pay his rent. And he needs around $700 a month in donations to cover all of his expenses. So he's living very, very leanly so that he can be a full-time missionary and change these people's lives. And so on my live stream yesterday, I made this commitment, and I'm going to do it again. For any of you that are watching right now that want to donate to this incredible young man and give him the ability to continue this missions, right here in my bio, it says, if you believe in the mission of helping people, yada, 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 but it says, your support fuels the message. And I've got a Bitcoin wallet, an XRP wallet, an Ethereum/MetaMask wallet where you could send funds on basically any chain on MetaMask, Avalanche, Polygon, Binance Smart Chain. And then for those of you in the United States, I put my Cash App and my Venmo. And I'm just looking to raise a couple $100 for this young man. And I'm going to match any of your generous donations up to the first $200. And it says in the Bible, don't tell your left hand what your right hand is doing when you're giving. So I do want to let you guys know that there was a very generous donor yesterday, but I'm not going to shout him out here because, in my opinion, he didn't do it for the glory. He didn't do it to get, recognition. He did it because he loves people and he wanted to help. But I wanted to thank him. He knows who he is. And I wanted to thank him. And I just wanted to give all of you, whether it's $1, $5, whatever your heart is telling you. And I don't want you to feel like I'm twisting any arms here. If this is something that you don't feel, led to give to at all, no worries. I would, give to something that's impactful to you and that's meaningful to you. Obviously, it's more meaningful to me because I experienced it. But anyways, if any of you want to give to this incredible young man, his name is Morrow. And, I'm trying to raise enough money to at least cover his rent. So $280 would be 140 from you and 140 from me. And we'll get his rent covered, and he'll have another 30 days where he doesn't have to worry about where he's going to sleep. And once again, $1, $5, whatever you want to do. If you're going to send money to one of these cryptocurrency wallets, do me a favor and DM me. And let me know that you did it, because I don't check them. These wallets are only for donations for missions. I don't use these wallets for my personal cryptocurrency storage and life. So go ahead and let me know in a DM if you send something over to one of these wallets. And once again, up to the first $200 that you guys donate, I'm going to match it with another $200. So if you guys come up with $200, I'll come up with $200, and we'll send this young man $400. So I appreciate you all listening to this. Obviously, it's important to me. It's on my heart. And so just, whatever you guys want to do. But let's get back to the regular programming. But this mission trip really changed my life in a lot of ways. I was always a giver. I always believed in giving back and helping other people. I've always believed that, when giving is so much better than receiving. But like I said, we basically took this family of 4, and we probably added 10 years of financial prosperity to their life, because generally, once they have the piece of land, in order to build a home on the land, in order for them to get approved for this Homes of Hope program, they have to own the land. And most of the time when they own the land, they're spending a pretty decent chunk of money on the land payment, so they don't have any money left over to develop it. And that's one of the reasons that you'll see these little shacks with a tarp. And then they'll slowly, like over the course of 10 or 15 years, they might be able to create a house. Like you'll see these houses and they'll have a stack of bricks. And the reason that they have a stack of bricks is because they can't afford to go buy all of the bricks to build the home. So when they get paid, they'll go buy 2 bricks, then a month later, they'll buy 2 more bricks. And it might take them years to accumulate the materials to build like a makeshift home, where we did that in 48 hours. And now they can use all of the money that they would have been putting into those bricks and putting into whatever materials they needed to build the home. Now they can use that economically to help their children go to school and get better educations. And just like I said, the impact of building these homes is incredible. We already signed up to go back in October to build some more homes, and then it's in March. We're going to go back in March. And so I'll shut up now, but I love this. I love this particular mission. And I love some of the young men and women that are willing. I can't imagine. Can you imagine just living for free, like doing nothing but missions and being 100% dependent upon the generosity of other people in order to eat, in order to have a place to sleep? Man, I love God and I have a lot of faith, but I don't know if I got that much faith. Like, I like the idea of being a business owner and creating an incredible life for myself and my family and being able to give on top of that. But imagine these people that have this calling, that are willing to step out in faith and do this stuff full time, totally dependent, like I say, upon other people's generosity. So I don't know. What do you think about all of that, Crypto Bullseye?
No, it's a good thing that you did there, Brad. It must have been quite fulfilling at the end of it, when you've seen their faces when they had the new bed and covers of the kids' toys and everything. It must have been a nice feeling.
Man, it was incredible. And I was lucky enough to get to share it with my wife. She was there with me. And my son, unfortunately, couldn't make it. We actually got him a spot, but he had just taken a few days off for work the previous weekend, which is his birthday weekend. We're getting ready to go on a family reunion on a road trip. We're driving for about 17 hours to get to this destination. It's an incredible lake. Going to be gone for about 10 days. We're leaving Friday. And so anyways, he couldn't get the time off, unfortunately, so he didn't get to go, but he's going to go in October. And I'm looking forward to him experiencing this for himself, because especially at 19 years old and never really seeing this kind of poverty, you kind of hear about it, but never really seeing it. There's a difference between hearing about it and kind of knowing that it's going on, and then actually experiencing it firsthand. It's kind of like a movie. You take your favorite movie and you try to tell somebody what it is from start to finish. They're never going to have the same emotions that were created when you actually watch the movie. And so it was definitely a very fulfilling experience, and met some incredible people. And then, like I say, we got the name and phone number. I'm connected on WhatsApp with this family. They don't speak English. They only speak Spanish. So I have to type out what I want to type out in English and then get it translated into Spanish and send it to them. And then when they respond, I have to take what they sent me and get it translated into English. But that's another thing on my heart. Like, I want to help this family. This gentleman makes $125 a week, guys. He's supporting a family of 4, a wife and 2 kids, off of $500 a month. So I want to get to the point where I'm sending him, even if it's $100 a month. but I want to send Morrow $100 or more a month. And then there's 5 or 6 other missionary people that I really fell in love with, but I'm trying to tackle one at a time. So rather than giving 10 people $10, I would rather give one person 100 or 2 so that it really makes a difference. But one of the things that really was put on my heart and what God was telling me is, hey, Brad, you got to come back. You got to make more money. You got to work harder. You got to be a better businessman. You have to be a better steward of your money. Like these $5 coffees, I think to myself, what's more important, these $5 coffees or being able to send some of this money to charity? And I'm an abundant kind of guy. So my answer was, let's do both. Like, let's make more money. I don't want to give up all of my pleasantries in life. But at the same time, I am looking at like, hey, do I really need, you know, that $300,000 Ferrari that I was dreaming about? Mm-hmm. Or maybe I just buy myself a $100,000 Mercedes when the time comes and have 200,000, because I can build 10 families homes with 200 grand. I can buy 10 families a home. What's better, me a Ferrari or me a Mercedes and 10 families provided a home for? So it really did change my perspective. I still want to have the 300 grand, but I just feel like I'm going to do things differently with it now that I've been on this trip.
No, it's interesting, Brad. Different perspective in life by the sounds of it.
Yes, sir. So let's get back to the charts here. Like I said, once again, I'm easy to get a hold of. So if you have any questions, DM me. If you want to give, go ahead and give in any of those ways that are on the description of the video, and then DM me and let me know that you did it so I can get it converted into cash and get it sent to them. But in the meantime, what else is on your mind, Keith?
I haven't had a chance to look at the charts yet. Does anyone want to hit us with some chart requests? Let's have a quick look, see if we can go through some. We'll go through some in the meantime, but feel free to chuck any down. We've got Shiba Inu. I still like the look of this one, Shiba Inu. We haven't broken the 200 daily moving average on this yet, but I do like the look of this because it's near the bottom of its range. So it's potentially signaling that we've got a little bit of a head and shoulders playing out there. If that rejects 0.001327 by day end, expect further downside all the way down here to 1227. But this one, from an investment perspective, looks quite nice to me. It's bouncing its 0.5. It's really weird because 0.5 is not an actual Fibonacci number, but I've seen time and time again recently 0.5 has been so respected. I mean, if you actually look, let's stick that back on actually. If you actually look at Bitcoin, we actually look at this bull market on Bitcoin, you see how often the 0.5 has been respected on this. So if you just have a look, let's go from this swing to this swing. What is it? This swing to this swing. Is it this one? The bull market really kicked off. Get the 0.5 back on there. Making a meal of this. Right, 0.5. So you can see here, from this swing here to this swing here, you've got 0.5. And you can see that 0.5, which is not an actual Fibonacci number, has been respected time and time again by Bitcoin during this cycle. And you can like literally follow it up and follow it up. And you can see how 0.5 has been an area that's just been respected time and time again. So you kind of think that it gives you an indication as to where Bitcoin could potentially drop if it did drop. And that 0.5 area is sat now at 99,000, just call it 100,000, between 99 and 100. Does it mean Bitcoin is going to drop that far? It doesn't mean it's going to drop that far. We're probably likely to go a little bit higher before we have any kind of a pullback. And you can just see because of how big this swing is here. So while Bitcoin's been going sideways, everything else has been trying to catch up. So it is something that's been respected quite a lot more than what I thought. This bull market is the 0.5 Fibonacci level. So it's something that I've been using. But I mean, yeah, Shiba looks quite nice to me. And while we're talking about the dogs, we might as well get on to the big daddy dog Doge, which is obviously broken trend. And then if we just stick a fib from this retracement here to its swing low. Get rid of this one. Yeah, so it's had a bit of a rejection here at the 38.2. Once we break through this 38.2, though, you can start seeing an acceleration once, well, an acceleration up to 0.04, 40 cents. Yeah, 40 cents once we break through this. But you can see that on Dogecoin, we've actually taken back the 200 moving average, whereas on Shiba, we're below the 200 daily moving average. So Dogecoin is looking stronger. And we talk about the risk curve. The risk curve is not just Bitcoin and Ethereum. The risk curve is just not the stock market. The risk curve is literally anything. So as far as like meme coins are concerned, you look at Dogecoin. Dogecoin's got the biggest market cap. Then you look at Shiba. Oh, where's Dogecoin? Then you look at Sheeb. Where's it gone? And Sheeb's got a lower market cap than Doge, probably the second biggest dog coin. But you can see because Doge is less risky, people are going into Doge at the moment because it's not a time of sentiment where people are just on risk, euphoric, hope, and all them fun emotions that go with it. So, yeah, the dogs look quite good to me, though, from an investment perspective, from a trading perspective, literally pretty much everything now, other than the ADA and the AVAX trade that I'm in. I'm just waiting to see what the market does tomorrow. I've got options on the table because I've got capital on the table. I've got limit orders set. I've got capital that I can add in to take from or decide what I need to do. I can build my leverage positions. I've got options on the table, but I don't know what options I'm going to take until tomorrow, until the market's decided whether it's going to cool off or not. So let's see if a dog Bonk. Bonk's one that's just absolutely smashed it. Look at this. We were talking about Bonk on my channel, and we were looking at this before this extension up. So we've got the Fibonacci extension, and we used hidden pivot level, and we'd gone from this swing to this swing high. We'll pull back down to this swing, and then we measured, and we'd said one extension to the 1618. You could see kissed 1618, and then you got a pullback. So then you bring the fib up, just simply from the swing low. We're looking for a retracement this time. Where you're looking for a retracement to, first level of support, 38.2. See how these areas hit time and time again. The magic Fibonacci. What happens if you drop that? To get rid of this 0.5. I know I keep saying it, Brad, but I can't have the 0.5 on there. I keep saying it. It's just something that I've never done. I do look at the 0.5 and I do look at how things are respected, but when I'm just analyzing my charts, because my strategy hasn't got a 0.5 built into it, I just straight down at the 618 as far as I'm concerned. So if you drop this level here, this is the next support, the 618, 0.002280, clues look left, resistance. So you expect that to flip support. Will it go straight down like this? Probably not. See what happens tomorrow, guys. If it's good tomorrow, you're probably going to hold the 382 and then get a bounce and acceleration to the upside. But you can just stick on here a simple trend line. This is your momentum line. What is a momentum line? It's a line that tells you at any given time whether the bulls or the bears are winning. So once you break above it, the bulls are winning. Once you're below it, the bears are winning. What's the advantage of having it? You understand that you're waiting for a break. So if you're understanding that you're waiting for a break, but you don't know when the break's going to be, whether it's going to be here, whether it's going to be down here, or whether it's going to be further down here, you don't know where it's going to be. But once you do get the break, and you do get the confirmation, and you do get the break of momentum for the first time, what does that do? Let's think of some trades here. Let's think of different scenarios. So you've got Bob. Bob's taking a position at the 382. So Bob's taking a position at the 382. Then we put another swing up. We get a rejection at this trend line. You've got some Barry the Bear that's taking a short at this position. Barry the Bear's going all the way back down to the next support base, and then he's buying up here. And you've got this guy here, this poor guy, who's still in the position down here, still in the position down here, still in the position down here. You've got the clever people that are short in here, long in here, short in here, and building positions. And you've got this poor guy up here that's taken the 382 at this support base before any kind of breakout, before any kind of confirmation, that's riding it down and riding it down and riding it down. What about Mr. Patience? What about Rick, Mr. Patience? He's interested down here, and he knows one thing. He wants a break of trend. Once he's got a break of trend, he can enter the market. So if he enters the market here, he's a clever guy, Rick. And then it goes all the way to the top here. What he's done is he's got a position, which was, can't remember whether it was Barry or Bob or whatever, 38.9, 39% to the downside. So he's had patience. He's waited. He's got momentum on his side. He understands that there's a high probability that that is the low. He's got protections in place, and once the swing continues, So the swing continues. He can start putting in those higher highs, higher lows. He can start putting his stops at break even, and he can ride it all the way up to Barry's position. I think Barry has probably turned into Bob and all sorts of different names since I started that. But I was trying to give a bit of an analogy there. But all I'm saying is there's the patient guy, there's a patient guy, there's the patient guy. We don't know how far this thing's going to pull back. We understand that once we crack a momentum line, if we add a momentum line, something that's happened for the first time in all of these moves, all of these moves, all of these moves, all of these moves, the bulls have got conviction for the first time. So that's how to play it. Just patience, patience, patience. But what I'm saying is Bonk's holding the 382 going into tomorrow. If we do get FOMC, there's a high probability that we will hold that. So I was just giving hypothetical scenarios of why patience is key a lot of the time. And I don't mind having a position that's broken through here, which is 17.52% higher, if I know that there's a higher probability that this move is going to be real. I'm quite happy. And if you're trading as well, people think, oh, I need to get this entry at X amount, I need to get it at X amount, but it's not, it's a consistency. So if you've got a trade and you're taking a trade here, you're taking a trade here, and you're long in there, and then you're taking profits up here, and then price goes up here and you're long in again, and you're taking profits up here. It doesn't matter what the price is. It doesn't matter whether the price is down here or down here, because you're looking to get in and you're looking to get out between a specific period of time. So it doesn't matter if you're trading up here, trading here, trading here, as long as you understand exactly what your exit plan is, what your steps are that you need to take for you to be able to take advantage of the trade and exit the market. Because if you think that trading is a game where you're just going to buy anything and then hold it for God knows how long and just make money, then there is going to be something that comes and wipes you out. You get a lot of confidence doing that, because when the market moves up, the market moves up, and regardless of what coin you're in, the market's going to move up. A lot of them are set up better, and a lot of them you're going to get bigger swings, and it is finding those little gems where you're going to get the bigger swings. But a lot of the time, unfortunately, you just got to wait, and you got to be patient, is what I'm trying to say.
Yep, I agree. So your plan is to kind of, be paying attention to that meeting tomorrow. And it sounds like you're leaning towards bullishness. It sounds like even if there's no rate cut tomorrow, the promise of a rate cut in September will immediately probably affect the market, and that rate cut in September will probably start getting priced in. And on the off chance that 5% comes to realization and they actually drop the rates tomorrow, we could potentially see, a little bit of a massive upswing, if you will.
I think that even if there was a 25 basis point rate cut tomorrow, there'd be a massive upswing. But just looking at the charts, Brad, it's a 5%. Poly markets does get things right most of the time. I ain't being funny. It does get things right most of the time. But just when you look at the charts, I just got that funny feeling. And I have said it about a previous FOMC. I expected a rate cut in a previous one, and I thought that the charts were telling me that. So I could be wrong. I probably am going to be wrong. But all I'm thinking is, markets pulled back, altcoins have pulled back. We're coming into a decision which has got a 95% probability of something staying the same, which means the market's built that thing in with a 95% degree probability. So that means that there's a 5% chance of something happening. That means that the market's given no chance of that thing happening. So that just means that if nothing happens, then it's built in. If something happens, then you're going to get a real positive sentiment to the upside. So do you know what I mean, Brad? It just feels like the worst case scenario. It feels like nothing's going to happen. But however, we're still waiting for something to happen because it is a decision. Man, he's had a tough time, Mr. Powell, hasn't he?
Yep. So are you planning on front running anything? Are you planning on getting any trades in, position today,
No.
believing that the probabilities are in our favor? Or are you just holding back and waiting for tomorrow before you make any moves?
Yeah, well, I'm still in my 2 trades, so I've maintained those positions. So those positions are still healthy. So I've got those 2 trades. I'm not looking to get into anything else, to be honest with you, Brad. I'll wait to see what the market does. And it might even be after tomorrow when the market makes a move and starts making a decision where you might run into potentially Thursday. because you've obviously got the different opens across all the different areas. So for it to take full effect, a lot of the time, it'll take 24 hours for everyone to wake up, everyone to get their trading open, and then for the markets to take full effect. So we'll see what happens, but I'm leaning towards being a nothing burger. Oh, I don't know, Brad. If I was to give a percentage, I'd probably say 25%, not 5%, that we could get a rate cut.
Okay. But I mean, if I understood you correctly, and I'm kind of in agreement, like even if no rate cut tomorrow, but it gets alluded to that there's a high probability of a rate cut in September, that would still probably create some bullishness in the markets, would it not?
Yeah, I think that's exactly what I'm thinking as well. So you've got worst case scenario, you're going to get nothing, and then you're going to get, we've got a 66% chance of having a rate cut in September, and we are probably going to get a rate cut in September. Let me just have a look at the FOMC date in September, because I think that if what you just mentioned is right, Brad, and we do get nothing, and then the market does build it in going into September, I think that we'll get a bit of a dump in September when we get the rate cut. Let me just find out what the date is, whether it's the September meeting.
Are you, so the two trades that you're already positioned in are Avalanche, and what is the other trade?
16th, 17th. Cardano. So you've got the 16th, you've got the 16th and the 17th, Brad. So if you think about it, you've got all of August, and then you've got September. So if we got nothing to go into tomorrow, if we got a 0.25 or whatever, that'd be great. If we got a little bit of dovish sentiment on the back of his speech and people were getting hyped up going into September, you've got 15th to the 16th of September. So you've got 6 weeks. So you've got 6 weeks for the market to move. If the market moves 6 weeks, that means that it's pushing in that positive narrative that we're going to start getting rate cuts in September, and then the next one's October the 28th to the 29th. So yeah, there's your 2 rate cuts. Let's do December as well, and get a little bit generous and do 3. But you've got your September, your October, and your December, and you're expected to get 2 rate cuts. There's a 66% chance you're going to get one on the 16th and the 17th of September. So if we get nothing, I think that potentially that could be a day that people shouldn't start getting a little bit excited, but a day that people should start getting a little bit worried more than anything else. Because once it's built in, isn't it, Brad?
Yep. I still, one of the things that you and I disagree on a little bit is I'm still not convinced that we're going to have, just an 8 to 12 week, kind of altcoin season. And then we're going to head into, a traditional bull market like we normally would. 2026, theoretically, based on other cycles, theoretically would be a bad year, just the same way that 22 was a bad year, in crypto after the halving in 2020. Then we had an amazing altcoin run and Bitcoin run in 2021. And then we peaked out towards November of 2021, and 22 and 23 were awful. And the reason that I'm a little bit more bullish for more of an extended cycle, a lot of it has to do with these rate cuts. I think that we're going to see a ton of rate cuts in 2026 also. And I also just kind of think that with Bitcoin adoption, with the ETFs and with everything that's going on in the world, I'm not going to be surprised if you're right, but I'm not going to be surprised if the people that say, hey, we're going to have an extended cycle that goes all the way into and maybe even through a major part of 26 are right either.
Yeah. No, I mean, I second guess myself. I mean, I look at the 4-year cycle, and I study the 4-year cycle. I also study the business cycle and all the macroeconomics that go alongside that. And for me, the cycle's not broken until the cycle's broken. The word super cycle, the narrative that's been driven onto us, i.e. the retail, i.e. the dumb money. So I'm not falling for super cycle. However, Where I'm second guessing myself is the market cycle doesn't have to be exactly the same. So it can be give or take around about the 4 years. So if it's a few weeks more, if it's a few weeks less, even 6 to 2 months more, then the market cycle could still be intact. The business cycle could be intact. It's where that rotation of capital is actually going to go during that period. So I mentioned last week when I was on your channel last week, Brad, that we could potentially see some altcoins rally in the next 10, 12, 15, 16 weeks, and then a pullback while Bitcoin dominance starts pulling back. Bitcoin starts outperforming in the short term. And then whilst Bitcoin pushes up and puts in a lower high structure rather than a new high, at that point, could the altcoins take some of that liquidity out of that lower high structure and start push up for new highs as retail start getting in? So that's just an idea that I'm thinking in my head. Does it mean it's going to happen? I don't know whether it's going to happen, but I'm just trying to think of different scenarios. But ultimately, I don't care if I'm out the market early, Brad. If I miss parabolic moves, I don't care if I'm out the market. And if I've got 10% allocation that I'm willing to put back in the market because it looks like we're going to get parabolic move, and I only get 10% of what I would have got if I'd have kept it in there and risked trying to take the top with my 100%, then I'll be happy with that because I'm not a greedy person.
Yep, absolutely. I agree.
But yeah, no, I think that it's going to be an interesting one. I mean, I'm happy taking out 10 to 12 weeks. I'm happy using that narrative that once we do get the break and close of total 3, that I'm happy to be taken out of that period. And regardless of whether my altcoins are the magic ones that run or whether they're not the magic ones that run, so be it.
Yep, fair enough. Man, can you believe it's been 2 hours? I can't. Well, I mean, I guess technically we didn't get started until 15 after, so it's an hour and 35 minutes. But I swear, when you and I get rolling on this, an hour and a half, 2 hours just goes by so fast.
It does go fast, doesn't it, mate? It does. Time flies when you're having fun, they say.
Yep, absolutely. So let's give away a little bit of Infinite Agape token. So, guys, you'd have to be living under a rock to not know that Infinite Agape is a cryptocurrency project that I am a co-founder of. We're super excited about it. It's definitely growing a little bit slower than we would have liked, but I don't know if you noticed or not, Crypto Bullseye, but we had another YouTuber, little under 10,000 subscribers, that did an interview with me and published it yesterday. I'm excited. He's not on Telegram, which is interesting. Most influencers, most crypto people are on Telegram, but he's getting Telegram. He's going to join the group. And, I was letting everybody know yesterday in the group that, we're building the base. We're building the foundation. We're creating something solid. We're creating something long-term. And, sometimes it's a little bit slower going than we would like. But I got a really nice compliment from a holder in a personal DM because I was telling him, man, that I was a little frustrated and just kind of not really bummed out, but a little bit disappointed that more people weren't jumping on board and buying the token and supporting the project. And he said, hey, Brad, you're doing fantastic. 99% of people would have given up by now, would have rug pulled, would have abandoned the project. And the fact that you haven't, shows your dedication, your commitment. And I have a lot of respect for that. The other thing that I mentioned that he liked is I said, I haven't been promoting the token that I've been nominating because I didn't want, as one of the owners of the company, I didn't want to win because I was promoting my token. So I've quietly nominated a token, but I've never told, anybody what my token, is and that kind of stuff. And so it really made me realize that, hey, my intentions are pure. It's just a matter of time because we're not going anywhere. Like you said, we haven't quit. We haven't given up. We're still here. And, luckily, because of the YouTube channel and the way I've got my life structured, for the most part, I can afford to support the Infinite Agape, project indefinitely. It's not got some massive multiple $1,000 a month overhead that I'm trying to cover and it's going to go under. It's just a matter of keeping it rolling long enough for it to gain some traction. And, you know, one of the cool things about like this mission that I am supporting is I've also met people that are, you know, that have given thousands and tens of thousands of dollars to this mission, and I'm becoming friends with them, and they all got a chance to know me, and now I'm the crypto guy. I had a ton of them asking me about crypto because a lot of them are in real estate and other areas that they've made big money in, but they're a little bit scared or hesitant about crypto. So one of the things that I do know that is coming is I'm planting these seeds. And I think as some of these people that have big pocketbooks and big hearts for helping people, as they realize how the Infinite Agape project is going to give away thousands of dollars to good charities, I do think we're going to have some people come in that want to support the project and start buying up $1,000, $5,000, $10,000 worth of Agape tokens because they know that they're supporting the giving and the mission. And what's kind of cool about the Infinite Agape project, in my opinion, Keith, is if you give money to a mission or to a charity, I think that's amazing. And you know, and I think that is a great place or a good thing for people to do. But one of the neat things about Infinite Agape is you can literally just buy tokens and know that you're doing good. But on top of the fact that you're, you know, supporting the company, you're supporting the mission, you're supporting the charities that we're going to be giving funds to, your money's not just gone. You actually own an asset that hopefully, whether it's this week or this month or next year or in 5 years, hopefully this asset has the potential and can explode and turn the money that you spent on the token into 5, 10, 25, 50, 100, even as much as 1,000 times more, you know, than what you put in. I mean, we're literally sitting at about like a $75,000 market cap. So it's not a crazy expectation for this thing to do a 10x or even 100x as it really starts to take off. So with that, guys, you need $77 worth of Agape tokens in order to be able to vote. We just talked about earlier on the stream, everybody that voted for the winning token, which was Floki, got $25 in Agape tokens. So you got a 30, darn near 33% return if you voted for Floki. So we're going to give away $25 in Agape tokens to a couple of people. We want to thank you all for watching and for being here and supporting the YouTube channel and hopefully supporting the Infinite Agape token. If I send you 25, you only got to buy another $50 worth, and then you can vote on the next set of nominations here in 2 weeks. So with that, I'm going to do something a little bit different. I'm keeping an eye on the chat here. So the first person that can tell me in the chat when my birthday is wins $25. $25 to the first person that types in the chat, when is my birthday? I know there's got to be a few people that have been paying attention. I've been talking about it recently, and I've mentioned it. 30th of this month. Oh, come on. No, I love you, Vanish, but you've won so many free tokens, but that's okay, man. You won another $25 worth of free tokens. This gentleman's done a lot for the project. He has definitely, been a long-term supporter of the channel. He's in the Telegram group. He's inviting people to join the project. So I am happy that he won. Yes, that is right. And this is a shameless plug for all of you. Tomorrow is my birthday, so I do expect all of you to send me a lot of happy birthday wishes tomorrow on the Wednesday live stream. And then one more time, guys, if you have any desire at all to give something to this charity that I've been talking about, maybe use my birthday as an excuse. Instead of sending me a $5 super chat or a $1 super chat on tomorrow's live stream or doing something for my birthday, take that money that you would maybe give me on my birthday and let's give it to charity. So once again, if any of you that have been watching want to give to the charity, please let me know. I would definitely appreciate it. And then let me see here. The second question, because I noticed what's kind of crazy, so many bots come out when we do these giveaways. I noticed that there was 15 or 20 people watching live, and we've obviously probably had literally a couple hundred people type BYDFI into the chat. So it's good for the algorithm. All of you guys that are trying to game the system, I appreciate you. It's good for the algorithm. That'll get it pushed out, and we'll get more organic views. But I don't really want to. I've been looking while I was off camera. My screen was off camera. I was looking at the date that these YouTube people that are typing in BYDFI. Half of them there. I saw some that were created today, so that's kind of funny. They're created on July 29th. So it's obvious that people are trying to game the system, game the giveaways. Anyways, enough about that. The second question is, how many children do I have, and what sex are they? Do I have 2 boys, 3 boys, 4 boys, 2 girls, 3 girls, 4 girls, 1 boy and 4 girls, 3 boys and 2 girls? How many children do I have, and what sex are they? For $25. This also should anybody that's been watching my channel for any length of time. Daniel, you can't win, man. You're an employee of the company. You can't win the giveaway, but good. You did guess it right. Eric was the first one that got it right. We got 2 children here, a 19-year-old son and a 21-year-old daughter. And then this last one is a little bit more ambiguous, if you will. I've talked about this a little bit before, but it's probably, you guys are going to be guessing. But the last question for $25 is, how long has it been since I have had an alcoholic drink? How long has it been since I have had an alcoholic drink? Oh, wait a second. You're right. Yeah, you did get it first. AMV got it first. One bot. That's not correct answer, though. I've got 1 son and 1 daughter. It looked like you said 1 boy and 2 girls. So that wouldn't have been the correct answer. How? I'm missing something here. Yeah, 1 boy and 1 girl, and then you said that, and then Eric said 2 boys, or two boy and a girl. That's the first correct answer that I see. And then Daniel had it right too, with a male and a female, 2 total. But 1 BOT and 2 girls isn't the correct answer, in my opinion. So we're going to call Eric the winner. Let's go down and see what we got here. So we got 20 years incorrect, 10 years incorrect, 6 months incorrect, 20 years, 15 years. Okay, there you go. You are correct with this answer. And so you have won $25 in Infinite Agape tokens. So Vanish, Eric, and AMV. Vanish and Eric, I know that we are connected on Telegram. You are in the Telegram group for the Infinite Agape token, and we've had personal conversations. So DM me your BYDFI UID, and then your Binance Smart Chain wallet address that you would like your 25 in Agape sent to. And then AMV, I'm going to pull you up right here on my screen and get your profile up. AMV, you're going to want to go to your About page. I'll go ahead and pull that up again real quick. You're going to want to go to your About page, and you're going to want to put in your BYDFI user ID number. So if you don't have one yet, go to the description of this video, create your BYDFI account, and then add in your Binance Smart Chain MetaMask wallet address. I want to make it clear, folks, do not give me an exchange wallet. You cannot get these tokens sent to BYDFI, MEXC Global, KuCoin, any exchange. They are not on an exchange. You have to have a decentralized wallet that accepts tokens on the Binance Smart Chain in order to get the infinite Agape tokens. So I think that about covers everything. And hopefully that way too, we got people that deserve to win, not people that are trying to rip us off. All right, my friend.
Very good. I think that wraps it up, doesn't it?
Any last words?
And just a big, massive thank you. We have got on my channel 9,958. So I got 42 more. I reckon it's going to be tomorrow, Brad. I reckon it's going to be the big 10,000 tomorrow. What I'm actually going to do, guys, when I hit 10,000, I'm going to take five of you guys, and I'm going to have you on a Zoom session, and it's going to be personalized for you guys. So it's going to be your portfolio, what it is that you're thinking, how new are you to crypto? How could you create some kind of a plan? Like literally 2 hours, use me, throw questions at me, do whatever it is that's going to benefit your needs. But obviously I'm not going to give you calls. I'm not going to tell you buy orders, sell orders, that kind of thing. From a risk management perspective, if you're new to cryptocurrency, you want to understand portfolio diversification, trading education. If you want to understand exactly how it is that I use how I enter my trades, how I exit my trades, I'm happy to show you exactly rule-based systems that you can put into play. But as far as me telling you entries is concerned, you can go and do that yourself. What I'd prefer to do is collectively look at a chart with 100 of us and then get to a point where I'm telling you, where do you think the buy order is going to be and where do you think the sell order is going to be? And collectively together we can say, Keith, that's the next resistance point. Keith, that's the next support point. We're overbought here, we're oversold here. And we can collectively look at charts as a community and understand exactly what it is that each of us talking about. And that's the point that I'm trying to get to, Brad. So that was a long-winded way of saying, come and join the channel. See if you can get one of them be one of those 5 people. If you're accepted onto if you're one of the winners, we can have a Zoom session. We do Zoom sessions anyway, guys. You can get on. You can speak to me whenever you want in the Discord group. So jump in there and be a part of the community, guys. Because all I want to do is teach you everything that I know. I'm not going to show you things. I'm not going to show you buy orders, sell orders. I'm not going to teach you a magic strategy. I've got strategies. They're not magic. You got to work for them. You got to understand them. And I will give you those for free. And I'll teach you all of these tricks for free. But ultimately, it is about you being able to develop yourself. And that's what I'm about.
Yeah, absolutely. So on that note, again, folks, if you are still here with us and you have not subscribed to Crypto Bullseye, if you have not subscribed to Keith's channel, what are you waiting for, guys? That's an incredible offer there, to be able to spend some time one-on-one with Keith and really have him break down some of his strategies. And one of the things that you'll find, folks, is we have to be a little bit careful about what we say when we're on a group setting like this, on a live stream with hundreds of viewers and potentially thousands of people watching. We can be a little bit more direct, if you will, when we're one-on-one. We still have to be careful. It's still not going to be financial advice, but I know from my own personal coaching sessions, I can definitely tell people things one-on-one that I don't necessarily bring to light when I'm talking to the masses. So that's a huge value. So go get in and subscribe to his channel. One of the other things that I recommend is take a look at his videos. One of the things that I love about Keith and his videos, if you look here, 6 minutes, 58 seconds, 10 minutes, 28 seconds, 4 minutes and 53 seconds, you can watch his videos and get some incredible value in a 10-minute period of time. So not only does he give incredible value and incredible information, but he is great at explaining it quickly and simplifying it to where even new people in crypto can understand what he's saying. And you don't have to spend 2 hours of your time like you did on the live stream today. I appreciate all of you that are here for the whole thing, but there's a ton of value. I know how busy you guys are in life. There's a ton of value in being able to take a look at some of these smaller, shorter videos. One of my favorite videos that he did recently was the polka dot video. So there's We're trying to see the thumbnail, which one that was, where we are. See, look at this. I mean, this is 2 weeks ago. And look at this is 2 weeks ago from Polkadot. And then look at all of the videos he's done just in the last 2 weeks. So man,
Grinding.
this epic chain, that looked like a really exciting project. I really liked your breakdown of that. So guys, I shouldn't have to beg and plead with you to go subscribe to this guy's channel. It's an incredible channel, incredible value. I think that he provides more value than most of the YouTubers that I know that have 100,000 subscribers plus. So that's all I'm going to say about that. Let's get into $10,000 and be a part of that celebration.
I get $10,000, do I?
Or I mean 10,000 subscribers.
Oh, I thought that was an extra prize. No, a big thank you to each and every single one of you. And yeah, thanks for everyone that's still watching as well. It's been a long slog, hasn't it? 2 hours. Time does fly.
Let me see here. How would an average viewer have the answer to those questions? Well, so back to the giveaway. So anybody that's been watching my channel, like if you go, I don't want to take too much time on this, but if you go back up here to the top, and look at this, GTA is on this stream just about every single day. Dave P every single day. Vanish every single day. Tulsa every single day. Crypto Flamingo every single day, and so on and so forth. A lot of these people that have been around for a long time, they've heard me mention my birthday dozens of times. It's not the first time that I mentioned my birthday. And over the last month, I've mentioned it quite a bit, not necessarily trying to get presents, but just letting people know that, that my birthday was coming up. So same thing. I talk about my kids all the time on my channel. I talk about my son. I talk about my daughter. And so, today's giveaway, I wanted to make sure that people that are actually supporters of the channel and not people that were just here because there was a giveaway, won the token. So, and normally, no offense to you, Lion, I don't want to offend anybody, but generally when people have questions like this, it kind of usually shows me that the only reason that they were here was because of the giveaway. And the fact of the matter is the giveaways are for people that are supporting the channel and that would be here whether there was a giveaway or not. So I didn't want to give away the tokens to somebody that was only here as just hoping, to win the giveaway. So you might be right. I can't, AMV might sell. I can't control everything. I can't control all aspects of the giveaway process. The unfortunate thing about this, YouTube business, when you do giveaways, you do attract some people that are only there for the giveaways. But that's anybody that's a part of this channel and really, supports the channel has heard all of this for a long time. And even with the drinking thing, like I knew that was going to be a little bit more of a guess, but I've told people on the channel many, many times a story about my father quitting drinking 2 months before I was born, and that he was sober for 50 years before, he passed away a couple of years ago. And that because of that example that he set for me, I never developed any type of a dependency on alcohol, but I decided in 2010 to just give it up in support of the family members and friends that were in my life that were still struggling with that addiction, and that I haven't had a drink, since 2010. That's something that is public knowledge. I've talked about it on my channel. I even have a video, if you go back a couple of years, a video on my dad that says how my dad saved my life. And so if you're a supporter of the channel, even the drinking one would have been something that you would have had an idea about. And as you can see, it didn't take too long for somebody to come up with the right guess. I mean, I guess, Keith, I don't have to justify, the giveaways. The thing about a giveaway is it's just that, it's a giveaway. Like if I wanted to, in my opinion, I could just go down the list and say, hey, I feel like giving Vanish some tokens today, so he's going to win. And I feel like giving, Paul some tokens, so he's going to win. And I feel like giving Jas B some tokens. And theoretically, I don't even have to do it randomly. They're my tokens. It's my company. It's my YouTube channel. I just give them to whoever I want to give them to.
Yeah, exactly that.
Anyways,
I was just laughing at Paul because he's saying, "Is that a cheeky pint?" And no, I wasn't laughing at you about Paul. No, it's not, mate.
No, man, I don't look down on other people that drink by any means. Like I said, my grandfather was an alcoholic and he drank himself into a nursing home. My dad started off, the first 32 years of his life, he was an alcoholic. He got divorced from his first wife, had 4 young kids. Because it was an alcoholic, he didn't hold down a job. He wasn't paying child support. He lost contact with that family. I saw the devastation that happened with my half sisters and my half brother in their lives. And, just through the grace of God, he quit drinking. My mom basically told him 2 months before I was born, quit drinking or get out. And he left. But about 2 days later, he came back and said, "You're right. I do have a drinking problem and I'm going to quit." And he was one of the lucky ones that quit and never relapsed. He quit once. And like I said, 50 years sober, May 23rd of 2023, he celebrated 50 years of sobriety. I was born July 30th of 1973. So just, 2 months after he quit drinking, I was born. Never saw my father take a drink. But like I said, alcoholism runs rampant on that side of the family. And so about 15 years ago, I only drank maybe 4 or 5 times a year, but I would always get drunk. I would usually end up puking, but I didn't drink unless I wanted to get high. For me, if I was just going to have a beer, I might as well just drink lemonade. So the only time I really drank, I didn't drink social. I drank to get high. And so even though it was only 4 or 5 times a year, I just realized that it didn't have any redeeming qualities in my life. And then as to support some of the other people in my life, I quit. And then, the one cool thing about it is I quit before I met my wife, Deana, and my 2 kids that I adopted. So both of my kids can say that they've never seen me, take a drink. And, and it's had an impact on their life. At 19 and 21, neither one of them have, I think my 21-year-old daughter tried, alcohol once or twice, got puking drunk and decided that it wasn't for her. And then my son, to the best of my knowledge, my 19-year-old has never drank, there's some possibility that maybe he took a sip of something to figure out what the flavor of it was, what it tasted like, but he's never actually had a whole beer or a whole, mixed drink. And, he just, not to blast too much of his information out there, but him and the girl that he was dating, recently decided to go their separate ways. And one of the reasons was because she enjoyed drinking. And, he's just decided that he doesn't want that to be a part of his life. And so whoever he ends up with is probably going to be somebody that feels like that and, that doesn't have an interest in it either. But anyways, that was a long explanation of saying that I don't mind. I have friends that drink. It's not something that I'm against per se, as long as it's not something that is creating a problem in people's lives. But I just personally have decided to abstain from it, under my current circumstances.
Oh, yeah. No, good for you, mate. Good for you.
All right, my friend. Well, let's hop off this stream because I do want to chat with you a little bit. And I know it's getting late. You gotta get rolling, spend some time with the lady, but I did want a couple of minutes in private with you. So sure. Thank you all for being here. And we definitely look forward to seeing you all tomorrow on the Microcap Gem live stream, 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, noon Eastern. We'll be going over some new tokens, some Microcap Gems. And so God bless you all. Have a fantastic day. We'll see you tomorrow.
Take care, guys. See you tomorrow.